You're 7 years old, playing in your Christian village in the Balkans. When the Ottoman officials arrive at your family's door, they aren't here for taxes or tribute. They're here for you. And you'll never see your family again. For over 6 centuries, the Ottoman Empire ruled across 3 continents. It is remembered for grand architecture, powerful sultans, and military genius. But beneath the splendor was a darker truth: policies that weaponized human sexuality, turning intimacy into a tool for control, fear, and exploitation. This wasn't random cruelty. It was organized, documented, and sustained by the empire's highest authorities. Records still sitting in archives detail the collection of children, the management of sexual slavery, and the brutal castration trade run with the same precision as tax collection. One of the most devastating of these policies was the devshirme, or child levy, also known as the blood tax. Every few years, Ottoman officials would sweep through Christian villages, armed with lists naming every family and every boy of the right age. They weren't taking crops or coins. They were taking sons. Boys between 7 and 20 could be taken, but the youngest were preferred. Even 4-year-olds were ripped from their mother's arms. Each was examined like livestock, checked for strength, beauty, and intelligence. The brightest and most attractive went to the palace, where they were converted to Islam, stripped of their names, and forbidden to speak their native language. Within months, many forgot who they once were. Some would become Janissaries, elite soldiers bound to lifelong celibacy and loyalty to the Sultan. Others would be groomed for the Sultan's personal service, including roles too disturbing to fully describe. The most beautiful boys were sometimes castrated to serve as eunuchs, a procedure so lethal that 9 out of 10 did not survive. Those who lived were denied marriage, children, and any semblance of a normal life. Still others were turned into Cossack dancers, boys dressed as women, forced to entertain drunken crowds that often turned violent. Or they became Tavsanoglan, bunny boys kept in secret for the sexual pleasure of high-ranking officials, their existence unrecorded and their lives erased from history. And it wasn't only boys. The empire's trade in women and girls was vast. Slave markets in Constantinople sold human beings with the cold efficiency of a modern corporation. Women were priced by beauty, youth, and virginity. The most prized were trained in palace schools to serve in imperial harems, where life was far from the fantasy of luxury. Competition was brutal, and failure could mean death. The empire's laws protected free women from rape with severe penalties, but for enslaved women, rape was legally treated as property damage, a fine paid to the owner. Children born from these unions could be kept, sold, or killed at the master's whim. Infanticide, especially of mixed-race babies from African mothers, was common. Even punishment could be sexualized. Public executions sometimes involved humiliations designed to reflect the accused crime, turning torture into public entertainment. Over generations, this system didn't just exploit bodies, it rewired society. Children grew up seeing human beings bought, sold, and violated as normal life. Parents mutilated their own children to make them less attractive to Ottoman collectors. Entire cultures were reshaped around fear of losing loved ones. The infrastructure of sexual exploitation, trade routes, legal codes, military planning was woven into the empire's core. Foreign diplomats wrote about it, but rarely intervened. The profits and political advantages were too great. When the Ottoman Empire fell in 1922, these practices didn't vanish overnight. They left scars, psychological, cultural, and demographic, that remain visible even today. This history is not about condemning modern Turkey or Islam. It is about recognizing how power, when unchecked, can corrupt the most private parts of human life. It's about remembering millions of silenced victims and understanding that such systems thrive when society accepts them as normal. The Ottomans built a machine that turned human dignity into currency, and it ran for centuries. The real horror wasn't only the cruelty, it was how ordinary it became.